5 key things to include in your SEO reports with Tamara Novitović. The In Search SEO Podcast is brought to you by Similarweb, helping you build better SEO strategies with digital intelligence, insights, and data. Hey, it's David. What precisely should you be including in your SEO reports? That's what we're talking about today with a lady who entered the world of SEO thanks to taking an SEO course to improve her home bakery brand. She spends her free time gaming and baking cupcakes and is head of SEO at Bazoom Group. A warm welcome to the In Search SEO Podcast, Tamara Novitović.
Hi, David. Thank you for having me.
Hey, Tamara. Well, thanks for coming on. You can find Tamara over at bazoom.com. So, Tamara, these SEO reports that we're talking about, who are these SEO reports for?
David, I'm going to start this answer with the most overused sentence in SEO. It depends. Yeah.
And I was mouthing it, for audio listeners.
Thank you. So it actually really depends, jokes aside, because if it depends from which side you are in your client relationship. If you are on the off-page SEO side as a third-party agency working on links, or if you are an in-house SEO working on internal structure of the website for only one website. So your reports are going to look different depending on which side you are coming from. And the size of reports, the inventory in the reports is going to look different. And based on that, it really depends on the type of metrics and results you are presenting.
So today you're sharing 5 key elements to incorporate in your SEO reports. Is this for every type of SEO report, for every type of recipient, stakeholder, client?
Yes, this is generally 5 most general and most broad things that you can include in SEO report, whether it's a link building or technical SEO report. So these are elements that you need to communicate with your clients in every possible situation.
Okay, great. So the first key element to include is key SEO metrics.
Yes. So your key SEO metrics are, again, dependable on the type of your project, and you can find them through different SEO tools. For example, if you are focused on-page stuff and technical stuff, or if you are focused on customer analytics, customer behavior, you're going to use type of tools like Google Analytics or Google Search Console. If you are focused on external metrics like domain authority or backlink volume, you're going to use tools such as Ahrefs or SEMrush. If you want to combine all of these metrics, you're going to take a look at Similarweb metrics and use your dashboard. So it really is about the type of tools that you're using. But I am always careful with the type of metrics that I'm presenting in reports, because it's really important to know what your client wants to see. If your report needs to be about keyword rankings, you shouldn't present domain rating metrics as a focus of your report, because that's not important. That's a completely wrong perspective. So you really need to be careful with the type of metrics that you're going to present. And it's really important not to overwhelm your client with amount of data on those metrics. I know that people in SEO are really proud of their positive results and want to showcase everything that they achieved, which is great, of course. But sometimes those metrics that have increased are not always important, and they don't bring that much return of investment, or they are not that important to client as some other metrics.
Those tools that you mentioned there could certainly spit out tens of different metrics, and you don't want to be, as you said, flooding your client, your stakeholder, with so much information they don't know what to look at first? Is there a maximum number of metrics that you prefer to incorporate?
Yes. So I had a very interesting strategy with my cakes before in my work, and I always like to stick to simplicity. Don't use more than 3 different elements in your project. This is more of a psychology side because people tend to focus on 3 important factors in everything they see. That's why I always stick to 3 most important metrics and then expand further if there are some other metrics that have been impacted by those main 3 metrics, or if there is something that I need to expand from these metrics. So don't go too broad. Don't have more than 5 pages of your report if it's just a simple strategy and if it's just a simple project. So I would go for 3 main metrics and then expand further and mention something else on the side.
Brilliant. Understood. So 3 key metrics depending on who the report's for and conversations with the client to see what's important for them. But I'm sure you've seen many SEO reports that incorporate metrics that you think are just not relevant anymore. So if you had to highlight one metric not to include in your report because it's relatively meaningless nowadays, what metric would that be?
I have to say it's domain rating for me. It's something that I've been using for a long time. But in the latest crazy, chaotic situation with the core updates and spam updates, it's really not that safe to focus your report on domain authority rankings. That's the first point for this. The second one is that every SEO tool has different measurement algorithms for domain authority. So the clients can use one tool and just think that this tool has the most accurate domain authority score. Then the agency is using a different tool and they rely on different type of algorithm scoring. So overall, I think domain authority scores are just there to support the report, but not to be your core or not to be included at all.
And the second element to focus on is tracking progress.
Yes. So here is very important to do the communication part properly with the client. Sometimes when you're working in external agency for SEO, you don't get all the elements, you don't see the whole picture. And it's very important to have all the necessary information that you need to be able to track the progress of your strategy. It's different when you're working internally, in-house, then you have access to all the accounts, all the analytics, you hold everything in your hand. But it's still important to communicate with your stakeholders what's the goal of your strategy, because you cannot cover every part of SEO at the same time with the same volume and effort. So it's very important to find the common goal and to focus only on one goal with one strategy. Then you are able to track the right metrics and use your preferred tools to track the progress of the strategy. The second thing is to communicate the size of the project, so you know what's the time frame for your tracking process, because the time frame is usually the most important factor in tracking process. Starting point and ending point and everything in between. It's what you need to analyze for the report.
And number 3, areas for improvement.
So areas for improvement are my favorite part, because here you get to see the final result and the fruits of your labor. This is the point where you show your expertise. When everything looks perfect, then I know something is wrong, because it's not good when you see that everything is working well, because SEO is changing very fast and there is always something that needs to be updated or improved or optimized for current algorithm. It's always good to recommend, even though if the report is 95% successful and the results are good, it's always good to add a recommendation for future strategy or future project. So areas for improvement are something where I like to get into a conversation with clients to see if the report is showing good results for their goals, or if they want to expand the budget maybe. So it's very good for, continuing the projects. And areas for improvement are something that I like to connect with our next point, number 4.
Transparency, yeah, absolutely. And I was just going to say, for areas of improvement, it also makes it more likely that the client is going to stay with you longer.
Yes, exactly. That's why I like this tactic, and it's important not to just showcase the numbers or send your PDF reports in an email and wrap it up and then just stay silent. It's important to have this ongoing conversation. If there's something wrong in the results, it's not a time to panic. It's actually opportunity to turn the negative situation into a positive, and to use your expertise or your experience to offer a solution or to change the course of strategy into something better. Because as we said, it really depends in SEO, and every website is different. If we are focusing on competitors and copying their strategy, or if we want to match somebody's success, I don't think it's possible by just copying their work, because the website domain age is different, the audience is a bit different. So every website is like a fingerprint. It's unique and it requires a unique strategy. So when there's something wrong, it's actually an area for improvement, and it's important to communicate this with the client and acknowledge that there is something wrong with the strategy. So the best way to deal with this in the report is to act efficiently and offer a quick solution, a fix for this, so that you kind of gain trust, even though you are in the negative position here, but you gain more trust from your client and you make a safe environment just by mentioning this in the report.
Great advice. And that also relates to point number 4, which is transparency.
Yes, that's exactly what this is all about. And being transparent is the best way to go. I've seen a lot of agencies or SEOs trying to cover up negative results with something better, with some other metrics that improved while the main metrics have dropped, which is not very good on the long run, because you're not going to see any return of investment. And at the end of the day, the client is going to end up being confused and not really seeing the value of your work. So being transparent and just letting the truth out, even though something negative happened and you had to put it in the report, is not the end of the world. In my experience, it's 100% a retention point and something that clients will appreciate in a longer term. They are not going to turn their back on you. They're going to stay there because you were honest and you offered an immediate solution. You recognized that the course of the strategy was not good at that point, and you offered a solution. So transparency all the way.
And the 5th element to include ROI.
Yes. So return of investment on investment is a very tricky ground in SEO, especially when you are working in the off-page area. We know that the backlinks are external factor for a website. And sometimes we can see websites that are just blocking Ahrefs bot or SEMrush bot or Google bot. So we have the backlink being published, and your client has maybe paid for the strategy, and they cannot see this backlink in any tool, It's live, it's indexed, but it's not trackable because it's not visible to certain bots. The page cannot be crawled. This can be very problematic when you need to calculate return of investment because your results are being hidden from you, and the client maybe doesn't care about this, or maybe doesn't understand the complexity of technical stuff or robots directives. So it's important to communicate a return of investment expectations in the very beginning of the strategy.
Okay, great stuff. So let's move on to
the Pareto pickle.
Pareto says you can get 80% of your results from 20% of your efforts. What's one SEO activity you would recommend that provides incredible results for modest levels of effort?
Get to know your audience. That's my low effort solution, but gives plenty of ideas and directions to use in your strategy.
And what's the best way to get to know your audience?
Starting from yourself, from your own experiences with the web and browsing the search, and your own experience, the experience from people, from your environment, from your surroundings. And sometimes you don't even need specific tools to get to know your audience. You just have your search engine and you start Googling and starting to think how your audience or your customers usually think. You can get plenty of ideas for content, for keyword research, even for a technical SEO and UI or UX. Put yourself in your customer or audience position and you will see what they need.
I've been your host, David Ben. You can find Tamara Novitović over at bazoom.com. Tamara, thanks so much for being on the In Search SEO podcast.
Thank you so much. It was very nice to have this nerd conversation.
And thank you for listening. Check out all the previous episodes and sign up for a free trial of the Similarweb platform over at Similarweb.com.